Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Explosions have rung out across Kyiv as Russia launched its 16th air attack on the Ukrainian capital this month, hours after unleashing dozens of missiles and drones. A local television report from a junction on a busy highway showed missile wreckage that appeared to have hit a traffic light. Still images showed buildings and vehicles burning following the attack as emergency workers extinguished the fires. Here, children running for cover ahead of an expected attack in Kyiv. Despite this, Ukrainian authorities say all the Russian missiles were shut down. Recep Tayyip Erdogan supporters are celebrating after Turkey's longtime president won Sunday's vote after securing another 5 years in power. He told cheering crowds outside his enormous palace on the edge of Ankara that the entire nation of 85 million people had won. But his calls for unity sounded hollow as he ridiculed his opponent, Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu, and took aim at a jailed Kurdish leader. President Erdogan ended with just over 52% of the vote, with his rival falling 2 million votes behind. 4 people have died after a tourist boat capsized on Lake Maggiore in northern Italy due to a sudden whirlwind. People were celebrating a birthday on a 16-metre-long boat when it capsized and sank in a violent storm. 19 survivors swam to shore without serious injury. The wreck of the boat was found at a depth of 16 meters. Aid agencies in Sudan's West Darfur region are warning it is on the brink of a humanitarian catastrophe. Entire villages in Sudan have been burned to the ground by militias. Widespread looting and destruction of vital infrastructure has left many with little or no access to food, clean water and medicine. A ceasefire between the army and the paramilitary rapid support forces has led to a lull in the violence around the Sudanese capital Khartoum, but fighting has continued in Darfur.
Buenos días. Seré breve y trataré también de ser muy claro.
Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has called a snap election for July the 23rd, a day after his left-wing coalition government suffered heavy losses in regional ballots. Sanchez had said on numerous occasions that he wanted to see out a full term in office and that elections would take place in December. It is highly unusual for a Spanish government to call a snap ballot after a poor performance in a regional vote, and his thinking behind bringing forward the national election is unclear. A vessel operated by the charity Doctors Without Borders has rescued nearly 600 migrants who were sailing on an overcrowded boat off the island of Sicily. The MSF crew from the search and rescue Geo Barents vessel came after receiving a distress signal. The migrants were being taken to the southern port of Bari. More than 47,000 migrant landings have been recorded in Italy so far this year, up from around 18,000 in the same period last year. Social media footage shows a massive wildfire burning in eastern Canada's Nova Scotia province. The local government has issued emergency alerts and multiple evacuation orders for the subdivisions of Upper Tantallon and Hammonds Plains. At least 10 houses had been burnt by the wildfires. Wildfires have been raging in multiple areas in Canada for the past few weeks. And finally, thousands of people have turned out in Nepal to celebrate 70 years since Mount Everest was first scaled in 1953. An official rally and march was held in the capital Kathmandu, where 2 climbers who set new records or achieved special feats in this year's climbing season received certificates from the Nepalese government. The 8,849-metre mountain peak was conquered by New Zealander Edmund Hillary and Sherpa guide Tenzing Norgay on May the 29th, 1953. Mount Everest is now one of Nepal's most popular tourist destinations, attracting climbers from across the world. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.